All right.
What's the order?
Just like the neck block.
So
Cuban econ advantage.
okay,
China disadvantage.
okay,
Cuban relations advantage.
okay.
Brazil counterplan. And Brazil disadvantage.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. In the 2C, your evidence says that lifting the embargo would strengthen the regime and kill the Cuban economy, and it would undermine U.S. influence in the region. But if the embargo was lifted, the money would go into the private sector, just as economy works, and will inspire democracy to spread throughout Cuba. And now on to China Decide. And the evidence says that Chinese economic ties with Latin America would target the problems in Latin America. But China is only doing this for their own sociopathic economic gains. They don't even care about Latin America. And your evidence also says that the plan can't even solve for the China war scenario, but stopping Chinese exploration or expansion, economic expansion in Latin America is key to stopping war with China. And the evidence states that if China collapses, then it would lead to use of bioweapons and terrorism related to bioweapons. But stopping China's economic expansion and stopping the war would just stop them from using bioweapons altogether and stop extinction. So it can't even happen in the first place. And locking China out of Latin America is good for our own soft power, because Chinese influence in Latin America would most likely vary. The probability is very high that there would be anti-American propaganda throughout the region, and it threatens our national security. And if there happened to be a slight economic recession in China, just because Latin America was off limits, it would not be significant to the US in any way. And again, the economic recessions in China would not lead to bioweapon terrorism or cause mass extinction. And on to the Cuba relations advantage. In dealing with the uniqueness, our plan has a shorter time frame than the negative and has a less probability of a Cuban economic collapse. This goes with travel restrictions and the regime changing. Our plan just has an overall shorter time frame and less probability of civil war. And but limiting the engagement between the US and Cuba, it will just cause more and more anger in the Cuban people and anti-American ways of thinking, or rallies, riots, and things of the sort. And Castro also says that the Castro regime would threat the United States, but again, with the uniqueness, if this problem is solved within a shorter time frame, like our plan does against the negative, then Castro regime will be less likely to act against us. And now on the Brazil counter
1
plan.
minute.
What?
1 minute.
Okay. On the Brazil counter plan, Brazil is not concerned with Cuba very much. They have a very weak economy, and this might be a selfish way of thinking on Brazil's part, but it's just the way of the world in economics. And if unilateral action angered Brazil, it wouldn't, because they're not concerned with them in the first place. And we don't even need permission to lift the embargo because it's a humane thing to do. And on the Brazil dissent,
20 seconds.
We are already close partners with Brazil. Something like Cuba wouldn't get in the way of huge economic powers like the U.S. and Brazil.
Time.
And that's it.
Okay.